Won't you shine on me when the rain has come? Oh, sun, won't you shine on me? Won't you shine on me when the rain has come?
Well, hi everyone, and welcome back to Cigarettes, Coffee, and Christ. I am your host, Thaddeus Paul Collins. I know it's been a little bit. I wanted to get this episode out a lot sooner, but I had some technical issues that took me a while to resolve. My USB interface was not working, no power coming to it or anything, and I was like, oh man. So it's kind of an expensive device. Focusrite. They make good stuff. I like them. Not sponsored or anything by them. Just really good equipment for the price. So, I guess it's kind of an ad. But I was getting no power to the unit or anything. And I was like, what the heck? So I downloaded the drivers and they wouldn't install. Kept saying it needed a security update from Microsoft. So I wiped my computer, I restored it to factory, which I had to do all the time because it's an old machine, and, get the warning, Microsoft is no longer supporting a lot of security updates, and they're going to stop supporting Windows 7 altogether. So, on the website for Focusrite, it said, your drivers might cause it not to power on. So anyway, I had to bite the bullet. I got a new laptop. I like her. Not top of the line or anything, but enough to get the job done. So anyway, we're up and running, new laptop. My little interface is working good, and we can roll on. So I want to touch on, I'm not going to spend too much time on this. I mean, everyone knows where they stand, but I have, of course, being the political junkie that I am, been watching all the impeachment stuff. And man, what a wild ride it has been. It's just nuts. I don't know what to make of it all. It's just, this whole thing, started out it started since the beginning of Trump. They were trying to impeach him the whole time. So you guys know I don't like Trump. I'm not a big fan of him. But this is the crux of why I'm an anarchist, because I just don't like the left either. I don't like how they're going about this. It's obviously one-sided. It's obviously a vendetta. And it's just so funny because it's just not working. Like nothing they can do, they can get this guy. So, of course, they, voted to impeach, which I had to do a little studying up on this because I didn't know exactly what it all meant. But, so I guess then they send the articles of impeachment to the Senate, which the Senate is controlled by Republicans, and Senate would have to pass, impeachment by like a 2/3 vote or something. I may be off on some of this stuff. Bottom line is, it's pointless. People think he's going to be removed, and he's not. It's, I don't know. It's such a big charade. Like, they have to know that it's not going to pass Senate. He's not going to be removed. And looking at Trump's approval ratings, they're up. They're higher than they've been. He's not going to get impeached. And now Pelosi is holding off on sending it to the Senate. She's just pissed off. It didn't work. And I don't know. If I was like a liberal or a Democrat, I would just be pissed because they've spent, 2-3 years on this? It's like, I would rather have them working, me personally, not as a liberal. I'd almost rather have them working on bills I don't want passed. Like, I don't know, whatever their, laws and agendas, socialism and, gay rights and abortion and gun control and whatever, it's like, I'd rather have them doing their job they were elected to do, even if I disagree with it, than just this huge waste of time and money. They're not focusing on their candidate. I don't care. It's all the same to me. I don't care if a Democrat gets in there or Trump wins again. Trump is the funniest. But I mean, that's basically all I look at it as these days is entertainment, and you cannot beat Trump on that. So it's just this colossal waste of time, and it's clearly one-sided. Oh, and like their whole thing, well, one of their things is that Trump's interfering in an election with this whole Ukraine thing and Hunter Biden. And I'm just like, how is an entire political party bringing up charges of impeachment for the sole purpose of removing this person not interfering with an election? Like, they have the entire system working to remove a man for political election reasons. So anyway, I don't know. Everyone, you guys know where you stand. You know where I stand. It's just so funny to me. It's such a pointless endeavor, it seems like. And I don't know. It's why I don't like the whole system. You guys are aware of that, I'm sure. But that's enough politics stuff for right now. I actually have a real kind of biblical important message today I'd like to get out. So we're going to dip into that. Excuse me. And it deals with jerks and how you love them and what it means to love in the Bible and all this good stuff. And I have a text message. 1 second. I'm technically at work, I guess. Okay, sorry about that. We are back. Text message from my dad about feeding the dogs. Anyway, I re-listened to what I already recorded while I was checking my text message, and just want to clarify real quick. I mean, I'm not against gay rights. I didn't mean to say it like that. I'm not getting into that topic right now. Well, I mean, it kind of ties in. We'll go back to that, but it just meant I would rather the Democrats be working on things they were elected to work on rather than not doing anything. So anyway, just a clarification. Probably do a bigger episode on that at some point. And it does kind of tie into, I guess all of this kind of ties into what I want to talk about today. And it's, loving people. It's one of the biggest, things in the Bible as Christians, I think we're supposed to do. It's, y'all, well, maybe you don't all know, but I'm going to read from Mark, Mark 12, 30 through 31. This is in Matthew 2. I like how it's said in Mark a little better. And you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind, and with all your strength. The second is this: you shall love your neighbor as yourself. There is no commandment greater than these. So, Jesus is saying the most important thing really is loving God and loving others. And that should be the whole crux of everything we do. And I want to talk about how we do that and all of that stuff when you probably just don't like people. And a little side kind of a theology lesson here is kind of an interesting thing. So Jesus is saying that loving God and loving others is more important than all the commandments. But if you look at the commandments, they're actually split up in kind of two parts. The first four deal with loving God. I am the Lord thy God, have no other gods before me. Don't take the name of God in vain. Keep the Sabbath day holy. And those all kind of relate with loving God, And then you have the bottom, 6 or so, is honor your father and mother, shall not kill, don't commit adultery, don't steal, don't lie, don't lust after your neighbor's wives or, physical property. Don't be jealous. So it's like the guy knew what he was talking about in a way. The commandments are pretty much split. But anyway, that's just a fun little way I've kind of learned to look at it, is the commandments themselves deal with those two things, loving God and loving others. So let's see, last summer, one of the worst jobs I have here is, I probably said this before. I may have told this story before, but it's a super simple job, but it's one that annoys me the most. Is that during the summer we're super busy, and beginning of the day and end of the day, I open up the bathrooms, the public bathrooms for everyone here, and we have showers and laundry and stuff like that up there for campers, and I hated closing down these bathrooms. I have signs up everywhere when they close, please have your laundry done by now. Please be out of the shower by 9. That's, when we close and stuff. So I'm up there one day and I'm tired. It's been like a super long day. I started at 6 in the morning or something crazy, and I'm tired. I just want to get these bathrooms shut up so I can go to bed, get up early the next day. And, normally it's kind of an issue. People, like I said in last episode, I really kind of learned how selfish people are and how they think the rules don't apply to them and all that stuff. But it's funny, as an anarchist, I'm actually a big stickler for rules, especially if it's rules made by a private business and not orchestrated by the federal government. Anyway, so I'm up there, and it's like 9 o'clock. It's time to close them up. So I just kind of, pop my head in the bathrooms, and I'm like, hey guys, 5-minute warning, 10-minute warning. Let's start wrapping it up. And I'm out there, and there's this older guy, and he's waiting for his wife. Another 5 minutes or so go by, and he pops his head in, and he's like, hey hon, the guy's out here, he wants to close up, so let's wrap it up. I wasn't saying that. That was him talking to his wife. I wasn't going to stop him. And I hear a few other people in there. So she comes out, and we're 10, 15 minutes past when I need to get these locked up. And I hear 2 other women in there, girls, young women. And I pop my head in again. I'm like, hey guys, I'm trying to close up. And no answer or anything. So I'm just waiting out there. And then I hear them in there say, I'm going to take another shower. And I hear them start up the shower again. We're getting closer to 9:30 now. And they take another shower. And I don't pop my head in again and yell at them. And this is what's going to come into play. And they finally finish up. It's way past 9. It's way past 9. Not way past. Anyway, it's been a while. It's been a half hour. So I'm trying to close these bathrooms up. And they finally come out. And I'm like, hey, we close up at 9. And they say, yeah, we know. We heard. And then they just leave. And I look to them and I say, okay, well, have a good night. And that's, that's the crux of it right there. Is I was polite to them. I said, okay, have a good night. And I was super pissed. I was super mad. But outwardly, I said, I was just super polite. Have a good night. Went on with my night. Then Thanksgiving, we had a big snowstorm here. This currently. So we're moving on to another story. I'm painting a picture here, guys. Just bear with me. And we have a big snowstorm. We have people coming up to our cabins for Thanksgiving, and so it's 8 o'clock at night on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, I think. And I think a lot of these people aren't coming because a lot of them are coming from down south. The Grapevine is closed down, so I had some cancellations. And I was hoping for more because I really didn't want to run the tractor and plow all the roads and parking lot and everything. So 8 o'clock at night, I get a call from Millie Chen, Mrs. Millie Chen, and she toughed it out. She took whatever detour she needed. She waited in line. Somehow she got over the Grapevine, took the 101, whatever she had to do. She's up here at 8 o'clock. She's calling me on my cell phone, very, very broken English, very Chinese. She's like, where is everybody? I'm sorry, I don't want to do an accent. She's like, where is everybody? Where's my cabin? Just frantic. And I'm trying to talk to her on the phone. Again, very little English. I'm like, it's okay. I'm here. I live on site. She didn't understand. So it's snowing. It's dark. I go out there and she's stuck like in the parking lot. Didn't even get over like the little berm from the roads being plowed. So I'm digging her out, just trying to get her off the road. She's like stuck halfway in the road. So I dig her out. I get her just in the driveway. I'm like, I'll dig you out the rest of the way in the morning. Here you can walk up to your cabin up these stairs. So anyway, I get her settled in and I'm just frustrated. I'm mad. Like, why did she come up in this? This is crazy. Like, she must have drove for 8, 9. I mean, the grapevine was closed. She had to be on the road forever. And so the next day, I'm out there and I'm digging her out, and her 2 little kids, like, okay, I forgot to say, the 8-year-old boy is my translator. I'm trying to tell her where to park, where to move, like, let me get this cleared out. And I'm translating all this through an 8-year-old. He speaks great English, smart kid. And so anyway, next day I'm digging her out, and this kid he comes out with this little shovel, and his even younger sister comes out with this little shovel, and they're like, can we help you dig out? And I'm like, oh, this is cute. I'm not so mad right now. But so I get her parked. I have to clear this whole parking lot. I'm sorry, this is probably a boring story. I have to plow everything, and the snow just keeps coming down. But anyway, this woman keeps insisting on leaving and going into Oakhurst, into the closest town, and she wants to go hiking and all this. And I'm like, trying to explain, miss, it's still snowing. The roads are bad. If you leave, I'm going to have to dig out another spot for you. And then when you want to leave again, I'm going to have to dig you out. So that, of course, is lost in translation. So she just keeps coming in and out, and I have to she's in this minivan, no chains, completely unprepared for the weather. So anyway, I'm bringing this up to say that this woman was completely frustrating me. I was completely angry that she would not listen to reason. Be it a communication issue, she just kept having to be dug in and out because the snow is just constantly falling for days and it keeps piling up. She has no ability to drive in it. So here's an example. This woman was actually very determined to come up here, and I ended up admiring her. She was coming up to her mountains. She was doing this trip with her 2 little kids, no husband or whatever. So I was angry at her, but she wasn't doing anything malicious. She was maybe not the brightest, maybe unprepared for the weather here. And then you have these girls in the showers who, I don't want to say were being malicious, but were definitely disregarding my feelings or my work or anything I had to do. They're being very selfish. So you have these 2 groups, people that made me really angry inside, that really made me have to try to push through this frustration and anger. And it's like, no, you have to love these people. So I did make some notes here. I kind of hit them, kind of didn't. But how do you do that? How do you love people? How do we love jerks or political opponents or moral opponents? How do we change how we feel? You can't really. You can through practice and all this, but your emotions just kind of happen on their own. I mean, of course, we can grow and learn and figure out what kind of makes us angry. But so how do you love others when you feel anger or even hatred or dislike for, like I said, someone who you disagree with politically or morally and all this? And there is a way to do it. It's not easy, but it's something you can do. You have to view love as an action as opposed to an emotion. There's all kinds of love in the Bible. I'm not going to go through them all. I was kind of taught this theory in the rehab I went to in this program. And, excuse me. I don't know if I'm going to leave that in or not. Why not, huh? And so when I'm trying to think about this episode, I'm going back. I'm like, well, I want to make sure that's biblically accurate, you know. So I pulled up some verses here that kind of show that Jesus is talking about love as an action, not as an emotion. I'm going to start with, let's see here. What do I got? Let's go down the list. So we got 1 John 3:18. I usually always read out of the ESV. I like it. So 1 John 3:18 says, little children, let us not love in word or talk, but in deed and truth. So in deed and truth, that's kind of given me that's an action, like a deed is an action. And then in 1 Peter 4:8, we have, above all, keep loving one another earnestly, since love covers a multitude of sins. This presents love as a choice, an action, something we can choose to do, not a feeling. So, and we got 1 Corinthians here, 16:14, let all that you do be done in love. So that's, again, another bit of evidence that let all of your actions, all that you do, be done in love. Okay, then I read Mark 12 already, and let's see here. Romans, one of my favorite books, one of my favorite misunderstood books. Romans 13, 8 through 12. Owe no one anything except to love each other. For the one who loves another has fulfilled the law. For the commandment, you shall not commit adultery, you shall not murder, you shall not steal, you shall not covet, and any other commandment are summed up in this word, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. Love does no wrong to a neighbor, therefore love is the fulfilling of the law. That goes back to what I was saying. That's, Paul talking in Romans, and that backs up what I was talking about. All of the 10 commandments pretty much fall into two categories: love God, love others. So, actions are physical things you can do regardless of emotions. Actions can be practiced. Like, I had the choice to snap at these girls or be rude to this woman, Mrs. Millie Chen, who just had to keep driving out. Or I could say literal nice words. I could take literal physical actions to show love for this person by digging her out over and over and letting her in, even though every time she lost, I was so mad because it was cold and wet and everyone else was off and it was Thanksgiving, and so I get angry a lot, actually. It's something I constantly work on. I need to work on. But while I work on that, I can still love those who anger me because I can take outward physical actions to demonstrate love. A simple way to practice love is at a job where that's where I get my practice. Start small. If you have to deal with a rude customer or client, go out of your way to be polite. Thank you. You're welcome. Is there anything I can do for you? And so on. Fake it if you have to. I hate to say that, but you just practice these things and it comes more and more naturally. You can also do this online. Okay. That's where some of the most heated shit happens. That's where so much anger happens. And, I'm all for healthy debate. Any of you who have seen my Facebook or know me, that's fine. But say, these aren't good qualities, but a lot of Christians, don't like gay people or don't like immigrants. And so I was kind of going back to that. But you can still practice love towards these people. Like, don't put up illegal immigrant crime statistics. Like, that's one way. Like, don't post hateful things about people. That's a physical action you can take. Maybe you hate immigrants. Maybe you think, well, I don't hate them, it's just against it. Whatever you think, that's fine. You can have your feelings, but you don't have to outwardly post negative things. You don't have to, and I'm no saint here. Let me be clear. I definitely post heated shit on Facebook, and that's such a funny platform because it is one we can reread and edit and look at what we're going to post before we post it. We can let it sit for a minute, but we don't. I don't. Like, a lot of the time, I try to be good. I try to be, open to debate and discussions. But so these are physical things you can do. Just say thank you. Just be nice. Say have a good day. And then I kind of get this from other people and even myself. And it's like, well, isn't that lying? Acting nice when you feel angry inside, or you don't like this person. Aren't you, like I just said earlier, fake it if you have to. And no, it's not lying. It's practice, and it gets easier the more you do it. Your emotions are liars. Jella Biafra from Dead Kennedys said it great. Your emotions make you a monster. A lot of the reason, well, for me anyway, being a Christian, a lot of it is understanding that you are stupid and you are a sinner and you can't do any of this shit without God. So, and I'm not saying be robots, but we have to understand, until we get to a level, a connection with the Holy Spirit, that we can start trusting our hearts and our emotions a little bit. You can't really trust them. That's why we have a guide. That's why we have a teacher and a book to help guide us when our emotions are being retarded. So, and this isn't just Christianity. It can be God or Buddha or Allah or Mother Nature or Gaia or whatever. Most people have kind of a set of morals outside of themselves that they follow. Everything except for your hardcore atheists and stuff like that. Even pagans. So that's why we seek guidance from God, because whether we understand it or we don't, we know that our emotions make us stupid. So you can't rely on them too much. You just can't. Oh gosh, got that coffee burping again. Excuse me. It's just, we have to, deep down, I think we know that we're retarded and full of shit, and we just want a little guidance outside of our own stupid, irrational emotions. So, it's not lying to act outwardly different than you feel inwardly. Granted, you have a solid moral compass guiding those outwardly actions. So, I don't know. I think that's pretty much what I wanted to cover. It's a big topic, and it's the biggest part of what Jesus said, but I just wanted to present, and I know it's not like a hot take, and many of you guys have maybe realized this, but maybe you haven't. It's just a way of looking at other people and yourself that allows you to love people. You have to view love as an action you can physically take and practice. And once you start doing that, you find it's easy to love everyone as Jesus commanded. Doesn't matter what their sexual orientation is, or their political party, or their stance on this or that, or guns or immigrants or whatever the deal is. I'm not saying we are supposed to, feel certain ways about things, but we can love everyone if you just view love as an action and view it as something you can practice and do. Everyone can say thank you. Everyone can hold a door. Everyone can, I don't know. I hope that's making sense. I know it's a big thing to me. It's the crux of how I try to live. And I'm not perfect, but I had to come to a point where you just have to physically muscle through it sometimes. You just have to love people whether you want to or not, and the way to do that is just to view it as physical or verbal actions you can take. So that's about what I had. I hope I know it seems a little simple and a little glib, but we have verses here that show that love is talked about as an action, as something physical you do, and I think that if you look at it that way, it puts it into context, and it's a lot easier to actually love people, when you don't get caught up on the fact that your feelings have to match, because we can't always control those. And especially if you're new to Christianity, or even if you're a seasoned vet, our emotions can be difficult. But if we don't let them override, if we take physical actions that mirror what, we are told to do by our moral guidelines, then it gets easier, and you're able to do it more and more, and it just becomes habit. And then the real feelings follow. Then you start to see, well, I don't know what this person is going through. I don't know what kind of day they had. I don't know what their home life is like. And it helps you not judge people who are maybe being a dick to you, helps you love people, and it all just starts working together. So, I think that's about all I have. I'm going to, again, try to stay at it. I know I'm not getting these out every week like I wanted to. Equipment issues, work issues, but I don't know. I hope you guys got something out of this, and I thank you guys so much for listening and being interested in what I had to say. And that's it. Love people. Don't be a dick. Go with Christ. And I love you guys, and I will talk to you later. Have a good one. Bye.